We keep things rolling here on the Sports Cubicle. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, and the NFL draft has come and gone. Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, our Chicago Bears, and there's so much hope in the air for the Bears fandom, for the future of the Chicago Bears in many people's eyes. And over the next few weeks, over the next few months, we will see these rookies, these new additions, this team put on pads, go to training camp, and eventually play real NFL games. But until then, we get to enjoy all of the optimism, all of the hopium that is the potential of this team, what could be a successful season, which could be a turnaround for this entire franchise in Chicago. And it got me thinking about expectations, because while everybody is undefeated right now, everybody has a chance to win the Vince Lombardi Trophy, everybody has a chance to play in the Super Bowl right now, there is going to be a point where we're going to have to start making educated guesses, where we're going to scout teams, where we're going to make predictions, and it's going to create expectations. And before we even get to those shows, before we get to that barbershop conversation, before we get to those water cooler moments, we're going to already have made up our mind heading into that because of expectations that are building as the months go on. And that's what's happening with the Chicago Bears. Expectations have changed for Chicago. Last season, this team won 7 games. This was without Justin Fields, who missed 4 of those. They won 2 of those games with Tyson Bagent at QB. There were a lot of games where the Bears gave up a lead late, where the Bears couldn't finish a comeback late. And there was some expectations last season, but everything changed when Montez Sweat joined the team, when Jalen Johnson and that secondary took another step, when you had somebody like Edmonds solidifying the linebacker position post Roquan Smith. This team started gelling and playing good defense and taking a next step. And you had DJ Moore, who showed that he is quarterback proof, that he is team proof, that he is just a top tier receiver. Expectations were building then. And then you get into the draft where after making a huge trade to get DJ Moore, to get what would be Darnell Wright with the 9th overall pick, trading away what was your first overall pick, coming back to it, now owning the number 1 pick again to draft Caleb Williams, having your own pick at number 9 and picking Rome Odunze. After trading for Keenan Allen, after signing DeAndre Swift, after signing Gerald Everett, after giving contract extensions to Cole Kmet, and players on defense like Jalen Johnson and Montez Sweat, expectations have changed for the Chicago Bears team. And it's not just on paper. It's not just a Bears fan optimism. When you look down the entire roster, from the running back room, which is a huge blanket for a rookie quarterback that's coming into one of the best situations a number 1 overall pick has ever walked into, a running back room with DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson, and even a Travis Homer. A wide receiver room with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze as your 1, 2, and 3. While having Tyler Scott and Dante Pettis and Velus Jones Jr., so on and so forth. That room completely changed after Darnell Mooney goes to Atlanta. Not knowing what this wide receiver group was going to look like before you got Keenan Allen. All of a sudden, though, you do get Keenan Allen to team up with DJ Moore. And Rome Odunze falls to you in the draft. Completely changes that dynamic of this Bears wide receiver trio at this point. This is from Bears Wire at USA Today. The Bears made a splash trading for Pro Bowl wide receiver Keenan Allen in exchange for a 4th-round pick. Allen joined star DJ Moore, and both are coming off 1,000-yard seasons. Factor in the addition of Rome Odunze, who fell to Chicago at number 9, and Williams will have one of the league's best receiver trios in his rookie season. The Bears also returned Tyler Scott, and they re-signed Dante Pettis, who brings special teams value. We're talking about the Bears now, having a dynamic wide receiver group. And it's not just through the eyes of a Bears fan. This is coming from someone like me who's able to separate myself, thinking of fantasy football, betting, prop bets. The Bears have a for real wide receiver group. At tight end, the ultimate blanket for a rookie quarterback. Cole Kmet, heck of a catching tight end. May not have the best moves, may not be able to do the stuff Travis Kelce can do, but a reliable target and a beast of a man. and Gerald Everett, one of the unsung heroes at tight end in the NFL. This article mentions Chicago has a solid 1-2 punch at tight end with Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett. Kmet, who signed a contract extension before the start of last season, is coming off a career year, while Everett gives the Bears a true move tight end to pair with stud Kmet. Again, just making this offense dynamic for Shane Waldron, who was able to get the best out of Geno Smith, but also get the ball to DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. A question is the offensive line now, if we're focusing on offense and expectations. Because this only works if Caleb Williams is great, if he's the truth, if he lives up to his potential, if he takes the steps that somebody that's projected like him takes and is able to make those level changes. He has to stay upright. He needs to be protected. And right now, Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright and Braxton Jones and Nate Davis and Ryan Bates are all going to be assigned. Their duty, their life's mission is to keep Caleb Williams upright and give him enough time to make magic. Because that's what Caleb Williams will do if he's given the opportunity. There's a lot of questions at center, if that's what Bates is going to be. There's a lot of questions on whether or not Tevin Jenkins is going to be able to stay healthy. He's going to have a contract talk too. Darnell Wright is going to be a starter for the Chicago Bears for a long time, but it won't be at left tackle, which is the primary spot in the offensive line. And of course, specifically though for the Bears, a center, which we'll see if that's what it's going to be with Ryan Bates. But that room is going to need help if you're looking for a weak point on offense. That's where it's looking the most as a glaring need, is more offensive line depth help. And it never hurts in the NFL to have depth help in the offensive line. And at edge rusher, you have Montez Sweat, you have DeMarcus Walker, and you draft Austin Booker. So if Austin Booker ends up being a good pro, just a solid pro alongside a Montez Sweat, that's a pretty good dynamic at edge rusher. Could use a little bit more help, obviously, but it's not bad at all. Where they will need help is defensive tackle. Andrew Billingsley and Javon Dexter, you're going to need more after you lost Justin Jones. And that is the jewel of this Bears team, is the defense. So your edge rusher, your defensive tackles, it is what's going to make your secondary special. Having monsters like Montez Sweat over there, just absolutely disrupting what's going on with the opposing offense and at quarterback, gives a secondary the chance to do special things. It gives Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon and Tyreek Stevenson the opportunity to be special like we've seen them be special. Like Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byron, who you just brought in from Philadelphia. So the crown jewel of this team is going to be defense. And if they're able to get to the quarterback, like any NFL team, like any scheme, but with the talent they have in the secondary, at linebacker, with TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds and Jack Sanborn, and they have guys there. If they're able to get to the quarterback, this Bears defense, the crown jewel of this team right now that isn't Caleb Williams, that will be the true crown jewel of this organization. Right now, the fixture, the anchor that is this Bears defense, they get to the quarterback, they're going to be top 5. Not just top 10, top 5. So all this is expectations before we've even seen anybody put on pads. This is just scouting. This is just projections that lead to expectations. When we make predictions, when we put that dollar bet and who's going to win each division. And that's what the Bears are now facing. So here's the ultimate question. I think the players on the field, on offense and defense, from the DJ Moores and Keenan Allens to now the Rome Odunzes and Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett, that running back room, that awesome defense from Montez Sweat and Jalen Johnson, even the star of the show now, Caleb Williams, I think they're all going to show up. I think they're all going to raise their game. I think they're all going to do what they're supposed to in the moments that ask them to do it. Question is, are the Chicago Bears organizationally, from the very tippy top, ready to play big time business? That's what's at stake right now with these expectations. Because with these expectations, if they're met, means a golden era for the charter franchise of the National Football League. Something we have not seen in over 35 years. That's what's at stake. Can they live up to that moment? I believe the players will. I even believe the coaching staff will give us their best, and it will be pretty okay. But can Kevin Warren, can the McCaskies do what's necessary to allow Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, Shane Waldron, Caleb Williams, and everybody on to do what they've not been able to do since 1985? And that's become not only respectable, but a competitive winner in the NFL. That's what expectations are. And that's what they've become for the Chicago Bears team. We want to know your thoughts, though. Let us know. We're on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com, The Sports Cubicle. Catch us wherever you get your favorite podcasts, at Apple or Spotify, at Sports from the Couch, The Sports Cubicle, and, of course, at Heartland Signo at the Sports Cubicle. We got more coming up next on this edition of the Sports Cubicle. I'm your host, Mike Mercado.